an Al Jazeera journalist, is among 15 Palestinians killed in an Israeli strike on the Nasser Hospital in Khan Younis in southern Gaza. At least 3 other journalists were killed in the attack, including one who worked for the U.S. television network NBC, another who worked for the international news agency Reuters. More than 240 media workers have been killed in Gaza since the start of the war. Dr. Saber al-Asmar is an intensive care unit doctor at the Nasser Hospital, where Israeli strikes took place. He joins us live from inside the Nasser Hospital. Doctor, tell us what happened.
Hello, thank you for having me. So, what exactly happened that we were, like everyone inside the hospital was doing his job as possible with the very big shortage of equipment, tools, medications, but we still doing what we can to do. And while everyone was doing his job, then a very big airstrike happened in one of the building of Nasser Hospital. It shook the hospital. The patients were freaked out, and everything looks dark around. Then we called the civil defense worker to go to the place that was targeted, and then another big airstrike happened. And so we still can't comprehend what would happen even now or next. The situation is horrible. We have seen bodies everywhere, around 14 bodies, dead bodies. They all were shattered. And we just actually, they targeted mostly the floor where is the operation room is. And as you know, the operation room, especially in the morning, is full of medical students, full of patients, of doctors and nurses. And they target a place where a journalist were preparing themselves to give reports about what's happening actually in the Gaza's hospitals, and also the other rooms where a group of medical students were taking a class, educational class. Yeah, where a group of medical students were taking an educational class, and they, most of them have a severe injuries, and the other is dead.
Thank you for all this information. We're just finding all of this out now as you share the information with us. Was it possible, or is it possible for you now to figure out what was being targeted? Because you're telling us the area was an operation room, also the place where journalists were preparing their broadcasts, and a place where medical students were taking a class.
Yeah, so the floor, this is between the 4th floor of Al-Yassin building. This is the main building of Nasser Hospital. This floor has an intensive care unit. Half of it is the intensive care unit, with rooms for the whole rooms for the educational purposes and meetings, and the other half is where the operation rooms are, and it also has a room for a class, and also the stairs, the outside, the emergency stairs from the outside. So the room that was intended to be for the medical students to have educational classes, and also the stairs that where the journalists were gathered there to preparing themselves to give reports from what's happening in the operation rooms and what's happening in the Nasser Hospital, and they were directly targeted. And the catastrophe that happened, that they targeted at the first time, they targeted them, and then after a few minutes, because after every strike, the people gather to try to save the injuries, and while the civil defense arrived there and the people are trying to take the casualties from there, they targeted them again, as they are intentionally mean to do it and to cause the maximum harm to the doctors and the civil defenses workers and the people who are trying to save their lives.
You told us that the area that was targeted included operation rooms, which you said are very busy around this time of day. Does that mean that medical staff and perhaps patients were killed as well?
Yes, so we are confirmed that the room where the journalists were there, like many journalists have been killed, and also with 2 or 3 medical students, but we are not confirming the number still now. Many of them were like you wouldn't recognize them. They all burned, and many of them are in pieces. So we are still waiting from the hospital administration to give the exact report for the dead bodies here. But eventually, either way, like what we have been calling for for 22 months until now is just a protection for the hospitals. My hospital here was bombed like at least 4 times. It was invaded 2 times. Like, I'm an intensive care unit today. While when the bombing happened, we were doing the morning rounds around to the patients of intensive care units. Many of them are children who have severe critical injuries from before, and I can see the fear and the horror in the faces of these patients who supposed to be in a place where it is internationally protected, and this is the place that's supposed to be safe and where the medical supply, where the medical services are provided. So unfortunately, this is happening again and again, and even of our calling for the world, for the international communities to make them stop doing this. But unfortunately, as you see, this is what happened today.
And you're also reminding us of something else that is vital, which is you have been through all of this before, as I understand it. Your hospital has been attacked multiple times before. This is a place where, by definition, people come to seek treatment. People come to be saved. And you're telling us you've had it before, that the hospital has been attacked and people killed.
Yes, exactly. I have seen patients are running away from the hospitals. We were talking to them that they still need a medical care, and they told us, I don't care, I don't need a medical care, I don't want to get pumped inside the hospital. Can you imagine this? Like what's more horrible things could happen for these patients who are just running away of the hospitals because they are now scared of getting pumped inside the hospital while they are still needing the medical care. So what we need is an international law to be here in Gaza, at least, And also, as the report says, many journalists, these journalists were preparing themselves to take the videos and to make a report from the inside the hospital to show how horrible the situation is. We are now have a very big shortage of medications, of especially the painkillers, where most of the patients need them, because most of our patients are the casualties from the different pumpings around here.
What is happening right now, Doctor, at the area that was struck, the operation rooms, the classrooms? I mean, I know there's extensive damage. What's happening? Who's there right now?
Especially extensive damage, especially in the operation rooms. But as we used to do, like every time an airstrikes happen, we are trying to go on because we can't stop. We have so many patients now in emergency room from that airstrikes. They need an urgent operations, a life-saving operations. Many other need intensive care unit and ICU management, but unfortunately we don't have enough beds. We don't have the rooms. So for us as the worker in the hospital, everyone now are gathering to try to clean things up and try to try to go on with the work and try to make up what has been broken inside the operation room, so we can go on with our work, because we can't give up, we can't stop. This is the hospital. These are our patients. These are our people, and we can't just give up and leave everything and leave.
Doctor, what is happening at the ICU, the intensive care unit? That is where people go when they are in the most critical condition and when they need the most urgent medical help. And you're telling me it was part of the area that was bombed.
Yes. So in general, even before this airstrike, intensive care unit at Nasser Hospital, this is the only functioning hospital with a specialty working now in the south of Gaza Strip. The situation is horrible, especially in the intensive care units. This hospital was built to have one main ICU, which is covered around 12 beds. Now, because of the number of the casualties and that keep coming every day, we have around 50 beds of ICU. If you ask me how can you extend these, I will tell you we are not offering the appropriate management, but we are trying to offer what we have. So we are trying to shift on the ward rooms to ICU with any possibility we have, because this is what we have to do. And unfortunately, WHO and other international organizations are trying to help us, trying to get ventilators and the ICU beds to the Gaza, but they are all banned from the other side of the borders. What we are calling is, first of all, we need a ceasefire now, because the situation is completely collapsed now. And also, we need especially the food and especially the medical aids to get in. What we are asking for is just hospital beds and ventilators and medications, painkiller, antibiotics. These are the major things that we have a very big shortage now here in the hospital. So last pumping that happened around 3 months ago, there was a very big damage in one of our ICU, where the patients were inside, and many of them are having critical conditions, and they got pumped inside the ICU. But because we are here as a medical provider, we can't stop. As I told you, every time a strike happens, explosions happens, we go on, we clean up, we try to go on with this, and not without giving up about or leaving the hospital.
Dr. Saber al-Asmar, intensive care unit doctor, the same intensive care unit that has just been struck and at least partly destroyed by an Israeli strike on al-Nasser Hospital. Thank you very much, doctor, for taking the time to inform us on what's just happened.
Thank you so much.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.